You're 6 years old the first time someone tells you you've got an arm. You don't really understand what that means. You're just throwing a ball at a brick wall because your older brother said you couldn't hit the same spot twice. You do, over and over. The ball thuds against the brick with a rhythm that starts to feel like something sacred. Your dad watches from the porch, silent at first, then nods like he sees something. That nod changes your life. Suddenly, you're a kid with potential. A word you don't know yet, but will learn to fear. It starts innocent. Backyard catch. Little league on weekends. But even then, something feels different. You're not like the other kids. You don't skip warm-ups. You count your steps when you take them out. You fix your grip when no one's looking. And you notice things like how your coach lights up when you pitch. How your dad clenches his fists when the radar gun reads just a tick higher than last time. You don't fully get it, but you feel it. Pressure disguised as pride. By 9, your elbow aches in a way that feels too sharp to be normal. It pulses when you try to sleep, but you don't tell anyone. Because when it hurts, people look at you like you're tough. Like you're made for this. You ice it with a bag of peas, throw some ibuprofen in your lunchbox, and show up to practice anyway. No one tells you that this pain isn't growing pains. It's a warning. A whisper in a joint, a countdown you've already started. By 12, your name's already floating around. Coaches talk about you like a stock. Other parents know your ERA. You got a pitching coach, a nutrition plan, and a binder full of charts breaking down your mechanics frame by frame. You haven't been to a sleepover in 2 years. Birthday parties? Only if you can fit them in after long toss. Your world is carved into 60 feet and 6 inches. Everything else is background noise. You stop thinking of throwing as fun. It's work. It's precision. It's identity. When you're on, people clap. When you're off, people look confused, like something in the machine is broken. You learn to hide your bad days. You throw through pain. You lie to trainers. You nod when coaches ask if you're good. Because if you say no, someone else will take your spot. You're too young to carry that fear, but you do. Quietly. Always. Freshman year of high school, you're already the ace. Your first varsity star draws scouts you didn't know were coming. One of them wears a polo with a college logo you've dreamed about. He clocks your fastball at 87 and raises his eyebrows. You pretend not to see, but your heart's on fire. You spend the next 2 days watching the video replay like it's game film for a war. You hit 90 sophomore year and everything changes. Suddenly, you're not a kid anymore. You're a prospect. Your name shows up on blogs. Your Twitter DMs fill up. You get gear in the mail from schools you've never visited. You walk down the school hallway and people pat your back like you already made it. But you didn't. And you know that. Because now you're not just trying to get better. You're trying not to fall. Every pitch is a test. Every bullpen is a performance. Every inning is a resume. Then comes the day it happens. You're 16. You're in the middle of a summer showcase. 4th inning. 2 outs. You feel it. That sickening pop. More like a snap. Inside your elbow. The ball flies wild. You shake your arm and tell yourself it's just tightness. You throw again. It's worse. You look to the dugout, but no one sees it. You walk off the mound like everything's fine, but inside, everything's crumbling. You sit in the car afterward and stare out the window while your dad talks about what went well. You don't say a word. You already know what's coming. The MRI confirms what your gut already knew. UCL tear. Tommy John. A year, maybe more. Your dad clenches his jaw when the doctor says it. Your mom tries to stay strong. You just sit there numb. The words don't feel real until the brace is on and your arm won't bend without pain. That's when it hits you. That's when the fear sets in. Because you've always been a pitcher, but now you're not. You're a rehab assignment, a liability, a question mark on someone's clipboard. Rehab is slow, lonely, quiet in a way that makes your head scream. You're learning how to throw all over again, but no one claps this time. There's no crowd, no mound, just a bucket of balls and a trainer with a stopwatch. You go from being the guy to being forgotten. The texts stop. The followers disappear. The scouts move on to someone whose elbow still works. You watch games from the stands, chewing your lip until it bleeds, try not to wonder if that was your last shot. You come back junior year. Different. Hesitant. You tell yourself you're fine, but every pitch feels like you're waiting for the knife to drop. Your velocity is down. Your mechanics feel foreign. Coaches nod politely. They say things like still working back or good to have you healthy again, but their eyes are already scanning the next kid warming up in the pen. You're still on the team, but it doesn't feel like yours anymore. You're a ghost with a glove, but you don't quit. You grind. You lift. You film every throw. You obsess. By senior year, you find your rhythm again. You're not throwing 94, but you're smart now. You mix speeds. You locate. You outthink hitters. A few schools still bite. The D1 dream didn't die. It just shrank. Smaller school. Fewer fans. But a jersey, still. A chance. And that's all you ever needed. College is different. Brutal, really. Everyone was the guy. Somewhere. Everyone throws gas. Everyone has a story. The coaches don't care about your past. They care about your next outing. Your first fall practice, you give up a bomb so far the outfielder doesn't even turn around. You feel eyes on you. You feel your lungs lock up. You walk back to the dugout, trying not to look as hollowed out as you feel. Freshman year is mostly riding pine. You chart pitches. You carry the bucket. You throw bullpens that no one watches. You go weeks without pitching in a real game. You start to question if this is it. If the elbow surgery was a detour or the beginning of the end. But you don't stop. You can't, because something inside you still burns. Still wants to prove it wasn't all for nothing. Sophomore year, something clicks. A guy goes down with an injury. You get the start. You shove. 7 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts. Just like that, you're back in the rotation. Friday night starter by mid-season. People notice again. Scouts are back. There's a whisper around campus that you've got a shot at the draft. Your name shows up on blogs. You try not to get excited, but you do. You hit 95 in April. It feels like a weapon, like your arm is finally yours again. Every pitch explodes. Your teammates fist bump you with real weight now. Your coaches nod like they believe. It's the most alive you've felt in years. You start dreaming again, not just of being drafted, but of hearing your name on TV, of walking into a stadium where your jersey is already hanging in a locker, of finally arriving. Then it slips. Not all at once, just a little. One start where your command is off, then another where your velocity dips. You feel something in your shoulder. Not a tear, just tight. You ice it, push through, but it doesn't go away. You lie to the trainer. You know better now, but you also know what it means if you speak up. You come too far to sit now. Not when the draft is a month away. You pitch hurt. You get shelled. Your name drops on every board that once hyped you. The calls stop. The emails go silent. You still get drafted in the late rounds. Bonus won't cover much more than rent and ramen. But you sign, because a foot in the door is still a foot in the show. And you're not ready to let go. Not yet. The minors feel like a trick. Like someone told you it was the way up, but forgot to mention how far down you'd have to go first. You show up with one duffel bag and a worn glove, and suddenly you're living out of motels with 2 other guys who snore and fart in their sleep. You're riding a bus for 9 hours to pitch in a town that smells like cow dung and has a stadium smaller than your old high school field. You throw a bullpen on a mound that's half dirt and half clay and hope the radar gun works that day. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the guy holding it forgets to turn it on. Doesn't matter. You throw anyway. You learn fast that it's not the best pitchers who make it. It's the ones who don't break. Physically, mentally, spiritually. You watch kids with triple-digit heaters flame out because they can't locate or can't stop partying or can't handle not being the guy anymore. You also watch guys with 89 miles per hour sinkers stick around for years because they know how to survive. The game doesn't reward excellence. It rewards endurance. You have good games, even great ones, but they don't guarantee anything. You get called up to AA, throw 5 shutout innings, and get sent back down the next week because a prospect needs the spot. You go 2-1 with a 2.70 ERA over a month and still sleep on a pull-out couch in a host family's basement. You start tracking your own stats, hoping someone notices. But most days, it feels like no one's watching. You're just another arm, another body in the bullpen, another maybe. Years pass like that, quietly. Your life becomes a blur of gas station coffee, bus fumes, and late-night shoulder icing. You miss birthdays. You miss weddings. You miss funerals. Your friend from home stop asking when you'll make the bigs. They just stop asking altogether. You try not to take it personally, but it still stings. Then one day, someone gets hurt. A spot opens. The manager calls your name. You're going to the show. You hang up the phone and just stare at it. You tell your dad. He chokes up. You take a selfie with your call-up hat and post it online. The comments flood in. Finally, you earned this. Let's go. For a second, you believe them. The majors don't feel real at first. The flights are chartered. The hotel rooms don't smell like mildew. The food is actual food, not peanut butter sandwiches and stale granola bars. You walk into a locker room and see your name stitched above a jersey. Your name in a real MLB locker. You're 27 and feel like a wide-eyed kid again. Then the debut. You take the mound in a real stadium. Lights so bright it's like daylight. Crowd so loud your ears ring. You try to breathe, but your chest won't let you. You throw the first pitch and it sails high. Ball one. You tell yourself to calm down. You get through the inning. No runs. No hits. You walk off the mound to a smattering of polite applause. Not a standing ovation, but you're in. That's what matters. You pitch well for a while. Middle relief. Low leverage spots. You keep your head down. You say the right things. You know how fast this league forgets. One bad outing, and you're just a name on the transaction log. You pitch 3 shutout innings, and nobody notices. You give up a walk-off home run, and you're trending on Twitter. Overrated. Washed. Can't handle the pressure. You read the comments even when you promise yourself you won't. You stop. Then you start again. Then you stop again. It's a cycle. You get hurt again. Not a tear. Just a strain. But it's enough. The team sends you to Arizona to rehab. It's 110 degrees, and you're throwing off a mound next to a kid who was in high school when you blew out your elbow. He's throwing 98. You throw 91 with good command. The trainers say you're making progress. But your arm feels foreign again. Like something borrowed. Something fragile. You make it back. You always do. But it's different now. The life is leaving your fastball. Your slider doesn't bite like it used to. You develop a cutter. Learn to pitch to contact. You become the guy who knows how to get outs, not the guy with filthy stuff. People stop calling you electric. They start calling you reliable. It's a compliment, kind of, but it doesn't feel like one. You learn how to stay ready. That's the trick now. Not to dominate, not to impress. Just stay ready. You ice the shoulder every night like ritual. You eat your protein. You do your shoulder bands. You keep your mouth shut in the clubhouse. You've become the veteran presence, which is code for don't mess things up. You know the signs. When a team gives you the early flight. When your locker moves closer to the exit. When your name stops being mentioned during the post-game presser. You don't even get mad anymore. You just nod. Shrug. Pack light. You sign short-term deals now. Minor league invites with spring training hopes. You tell yourself it's just another shot, another climb. But deep down you feel it. This is the last lap. The tread is gone. The pain that used to come and go has settled in. You wake up sore. You go to sleep sore. Some days, your fingers go numb while tying your cleats. You don't tell anyone, because if you do, it's over. You pitch in silence now. The roar is still there, but it doesn't feel like it's for you. Not really. It's for the kid after you. The next big thing. You smile when he hits 100 on the gun. You pat him on the back when the scouts gather behind the radar screen. You say, enjoy it while it lasts. You mean it, because it doesn't. Then one day it ends. No warning, no speech, no farewell tour, just a call that doesn't come, an offer that doesn't arrive. Your locker isn't packed because it never got unpacked. You wait a few days just in case. A week. Maybe someone gets hurt. Maybe someone remembers. But no one calls. Not even your agent. Eventually, you just stop waiting. You throw in your backyard a few times, just to feel it again. The way the ball leaves your hand, the way it spins. But your arm feels like rubber bands and broken glass now. You get winded picking up the ball after it bounces. You stop. You sit down in the grass and stare at your glove. You wonder how something that once felt like your whole identity could suddenly feel like someone else's story. So you coach. Because what else are you going to do? You help a kid fix his stride, tighten his mechanics, get a little more whip on the release. He smiles, says, thanks, coach. You smile back. You tell him to stay focused, to enjoy, to take care of his arm. You don't tell him that the joy gets traded for stress, that every pitch becomes a measure of your worth, that the crowd is louder when you're failing. That one bad outing can erase 100 good ones. You just nod. You say, nice pitch. You say, keep going. You still dream about it, sometimes. The feel of a perfect pitch. The glove popping like a gunshot. The crowd rising to its feet with 2 outs in the ninth. The mound beneath your cleats, packed tight and sacred. You miss the silence before the windup. The stillness when the whole stadium holds its breath, waiting for you to decide how this moment ends. In your dreams, your body doesn't hurt. Your arm is young. The ball is yours. And you always wake up reaching for the rosin bag. That's why it sucks to be a pitcher. Because it's not just a job. It's a sacrifice. You give it your shoulder, your elbow, your time, your sleep, your sanity. You give it birthdays, relationships, years. You give it who you were. It gives back, just enough to keep you chasing. Just enough to make you believe. But it never gives without taking. You train like a machine, live like a ghost, and hope for a shot that most people will never understand. You ride buses, pitch hurt, throw when you're broken, smile when you're scared. You learn to live with failure, to wear it, to pitch through it. And when it's finally gone, when there's no jersey, no call-up, no cheers left, you're still just a pitcher. Only now no one's watching, but you do it again. You always would. That's the curse. That's the love. That's the reason. Because somewhere in the quiet of your body breaking down, in the echo of a fastball hitting leather, you felt something pure, something worth chasing, something bigger than pain. And that's why it hurts. That's why it stays. That's why it sucks to be a pitcher.